Looking for a checking account with no monthly requirements or service charge? People's State Bank's People's Checking Account is just what you're looking for. This account includes free debit card, online and mobile banking, bill pay, and much more at no cost to you. You heard that right. No cost to you. We're your local community bank ready to serve you. People's State Bank. Member FDIC.
24/7, 365. Myers Heating and Cooling is your trusted residential heating and cooling system service provider. Join Myers Comfort Club for peace of mind throughout the year and around the clock. Myers Heating and Cooling in Lancaster. Don't worry, we got this.
Check out Supps.com. Supps is Southwest Wisconsin's go-to supplement store. Find all your favorite supplement brands at the best prices from local people. Fuel your fitness journey. Supps.com, your go-to supplement store with locations in Fennimore and Dubuque.
Grow your business by enhancing your digital marketing efforts with Queen Bee Radio and Phase 3 Digital. We provide customized solutions based on your business's unique needs, including targeted advertising, website development, and search engine optimization. Contact us at 608-349-2000 or visit p3da.com/Platteville to learn more.
This is a Queen Bee Radio High School sports presentation. Queen Bee Radio proudly brings you Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of high school sports. Presented by Myers Heating and Cooling and Wolf Construction. And sponsored by Claire Bank, Cuba City Family Dental, Culver's of Dubuque, Galena, and Platteville, Edward Jones representative Ben Reeves and Elena Reeves, Fuller's Milker Center, Nutrition World, the Peterson Agency, Raleigh Cheese, the Shoebox, and Tricor Insurance.
Good afternoon, softball fans, and welcome to Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of the Tim Slack Auction and Realty Softball Game of the Week, presented by Myers Heating and Cooling, Myers Home Comfort Store, and Wolf Construction on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. From Crown Sage Park in Boscobel, the Fennimore Golden Eagles take on the Boscobel Bulldogs, ranked 3rd in Division 4 in Southwest Wisconsin Activities League Softball. From the Wolf Construction broadcast table right behind home plate, I'm Steve Prestigard, along with Tyler DeCanis. And on the one hand, the Boscobel Bulldogs are in first place by a game and a half over Cuba City in the SWAL, which is a pretty good margin with just 4 or 5 games, or not even that, left in the regular season. However, right behind the Bulldogs are 2 teams, Cuba City and Mineral Point, whose only losses this season have been in the SWAL. The Bulldogs have won the last 3 SWAL titles and gotten to the sectional the past 3 seasons, but obviously, Tyler, making it a 4-peat is not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy, and just the way this conference has shaped out, like you said, Steve, there's no room for error for any of these teams, especially down the home stretch of the season. If they have any conference title aspirations, the way that teams have been beating each other up in conference play makes for a very thrilling finish for the season. And, you know, this is a key piece in how that conference title picture is going to shake out.
Definitely. These 2 teams played for the first time back on April 25th, with Boscobel winning the game 7-0, and this is our first, and I'm going to guess, well, we know it's not going to be the last, but it won't just be the second one on Monday, but this is the first time that we have seen Boscobel pitcher Greta Grassel pitch. To call her dominant is a gross understatement when you look at what she has done this season to other teams. How about this for a stat? 4 no-hitters this year. And that would be basically the reason that she is going to be pitching for a different Bulldog team, Mississippi State University, next year.
And I believe she committed to them as she was a sophomore in high school, so she's known that she's going to be playing at the Division I level even halfway through her high school academic career. So, you know, that just speaks to the dominance and how phenomenal she is in the pitcher circle, but she's also a very underrated, I think sometimes overlooked offensive threat at the plate as well. She can definitely hit some home runs. She's probably part of the Boscobel bomb squad, sending softballs over the snow fence out in the field. So, she is a well-rounded baseball player, 3-time defending SWAL Conference Player of the Year. Obviously, a big reason for the success behind Boscobel over these past few seasons.
Now, conversely, Fennimore is not a bad team. In fact, they come into this game at 7-4 overall. And the funny part is they have a win over the only team that's beaten Boscobel to this point was Steuben earlier in the season. So obviously, if they play well, and if they can get Boscobel to not play well, they got a shot here.
Well, it also speaks to who plays who when. Boscobel early part of the season, that loss to Steuben has certainly helped them get things right down the middle part and now the latter part of the season. And for Fennimore, a win against Steuben, a very quality softball team, giving them momentum heading towards the home stretch of the season as well. A collision course between these two programs, very exciting softball game to begin the weekend here in Boscobel.
That's right. This is the Raleigh Cheese pregame show coming up next, presented by Raleigh Cheese at the intersection of Highways 11 and 23 in the heart of Lafayette County.
Don't forget the cheese.
We're also brought to you by Claire Bank, where there are 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin, proud to support our community events. Claire Bank, where they say we can do that, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Also, H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving you in Fennimore, Lancaster, and Boscobel. Always on call, always the right call. H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving Southwest Wisconsin 24/7 since 1958.
We had a big game Tuesday against Wazeeka. Went 10 innings to get a win.
Cheese pregame show on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. SWAL softball, Fennimore and Boscobel, and we are joined by Cassie Rurst, the Fennimore coach. Thanks for joining us. How do you feel like your team is playing right now in what is obviously an incredibly competitive conference at the top?
Yeah, no, it's a very tough conference. I think we've been playing really well. We've had a lot of games this week. We've already played 4 just this week. We had a big game Tuesday against Wazeeka. Went 10 innings to get a win. So they're playing at their best right now. So we're hoping we can roll that into tonight.
And sorry, you have, Boscobel's got 1 loss this year. Mineral Point, Cuba City have 2 each, and they were in the conference. And then there's you guys, and there's Iowa Grant, which is pretty good this year. It's a very, very competitive conference.
Yeah, for sure. Every team has to show up ready to play every night. There's no easy wins in our conference as well.
When things are going well for you, how are you guys playing?
Really good. I think when we're playing at our best, we're having the whole team hit 1 through 9. They're all capable of hitting the ball well, and those nights that we are playing at our best, it's really a team win.
Okay, now you lost to Boscobel the last time. What did you not do in that game that you feel like you have to do today?
Yeah, we just weren't able to string our hits together in the same inning. We were hitting the ball and moving runners, but it wasn't enough to get us onto the scoreboard. Greta had a great night against us that night, so if we can shut her down and string our hits together, I think we can get a win tonight.
That's got to be a little intimidating in the sense that, her stats are out of sight. Does that change how you play as far as if you get a base runner, are you playing for 1 run and hoping that's enough, or does that really affect?
It's hard to win in our conference with only 1 run. So yes, we need to get a run to score and to win, but we'd like to get more than 1.
Okay. Does the fact that you're maybe not playing the last time against Boscobel affect anything in this game? Because obviously, hard to believe the playoffs are coming up in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Is that in the back of your mind at all as far as how you play today?
We're just coming in today with better mindset, I think, as a team, and hopefully we can use that to get a win tonight.
Okay, what do you feel like specifically you want to do today? As you point out,
get a win.
How do you do that?
No, I'm just, when we have runners in scoring position, we need to capitalize on that and make sure that we get some runs in. We didn't do that last time we played them.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good luck today.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Cassie Rurst, the Fennimore coach. Back with more after this on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Today's game brought to you by Doodle's Pub and Eatery in Lancaster. Follow them on Facebook for daily lunch specials. Doodle's on the Square in Lancaster. Anderson Weber Toyota in Dubuque, powering our audio stream. Anderson Weber Toyota in Dubuque, when you are ready. Cheese pregame show continues on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Fennimore and Boscobel. It's SWAL softball. We're joined by the new but familiar coach Corey Grassel of Boscobel. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
What's the difference between an assistant coach and a head guy?
Well, you have all the administrative stuff you have to take care of. You got to make sure you got all your uniforms back. You hand them out, you get them back, you make sure you got them all checked off. You got to make sure your bus schedule's right, your game schedule's correct. You got to get a daily schedule out to your players and their parents. Just those types of things. Other than that, pretty much is the same. I guess I do have to do the practice plan for the whole group every day. So.
And you're in charge of feeding and housing your pitcher also.
Yeah,
right?
I am in charge. That's always, I guess, has been on the plate the whole time. So nothing's changed there.
What's that like? Now, being the coach of arguably your best player and your daughter.
I guess it's nothing different than just having your own kid at home that's not an athlete. We don't really talk a whole lot about our athletes or our athletics during when we're at home. We might have a couple of minute discussion, but when we're at home, we try to keep home at home and softball at the softball field here. And we've kind of taken that approach ever since our kids were little. And Greta's the youngest of 3, so we've had quite a bit of experience on how to alleviate all of the distractions of the softball game at home, and we just concentrate on school and what we have going on at home. So,
well, you've had a huge amount of success the last 3 years, 3 conference titles, 3 trips into the sectional, and I don't know if you want to say that the window of opportunity ends after the season, but you've got a very, very senior-laden lineup, not just Greta, but almost everybody else.
Yeah, we out of 14 girls, 8 of them are seniors, so we lose over half of the players we have. I'm not sure what comes up next year for numbers-wise. So I mean, yeah, it could be really thin. I'm not sure what's available and what the future actually looks like. So we will have a lot of key players, back with a lot of experience for next year. But I don't know if there'll be enough numbers to even have 9 kids come out.
Well, let's talk about this year, because the future is now, as George Allen would say. How do you feel like you two guys are playing right now?
Right now we're playing really well. I'm really happy with the way the girls are playing on the field, and they're taking a good approach at the plate. And we've made a couple changes and in some spots. We moved some people around and have some different people in the lineup tonight and last night, our last game against Iowa Grant, because of an injury. So, but everybody that's stepping in has come ready to play and has done a really good job for us. So right now I probably have like 11 kids fighting for 9 spots, and we didn't really have a whole lot of people pushing other players last couple years like we have this year, and I think it's really paying off for us right now.
Okay. And you beat Fennimore the first time you played them.
Yep.
What about that game you want to keep doing today?
I guess we just still got to stay aggressive at the plate. Everybody's got to go up there and attack their zone. We got to play good defense whenever the ball's in play. We just got to make the plays and limit them when we can, and take advantage of the opportunities that we have.
All right, thanks a lot, and good luck this afternoon.
All right, thank
Corey
you.
Grassel, the Boscobel coach. Fennimore and Boscobel in softball in the Swall on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. The injury report is brought to you by Russell Law Offices. If you've been injured, contact Russell Law Offices. Their experienced team of personal injury lawyers will fight for your rights and help you get the compensation you deserve. Visit RussellLawWI.com. There is one player for Boscobel who is a question mark coming into the game because, of all things, she got spiked on her foot in the celebration of their win on Monday. Kind of funny, that doesn't happen more often. Not that perhaps specifically, but, think of, a baseball player hits a game-winning home run and everybody jumps on him and all that. And
it's surprising it doesn't happen more often, but, for teams that have a lot of success and have moments like that, something you obviously have to keep an eye out for, and, don't want to have that happen down the home stretch of the season as you're getting ready for a postseason run.
Definitely not. On the Shoebox Scoreboard, presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. Well, the first thing to say is Brewers 3, Cubs 1. That was on AM 1590 WPVL. And my late grandmother, who was a huge Brewers fan, and she is buried in the cemetery behind us, she would be happy about that, absolutely.
Yeah, congrats for the Brewers. And, yeah, again, a win over the Cubs. Always fun, especially on the road in Wrigley.
Oh, yes. I'm sure they're not too happy at the royal blue-clad fans. Also in the Swall today, Southwestern is at Darlington, Barneveld at Mineral Point, and one non-conference game, Lancaster, is at Cuba City. Boscobel is 8-0. Cuba City, who we will see Monday, they take on these Bulldogs right here. The Cubans are 7-2. Mineral Point 6-2. Fennimore comes in at 5-3. Iowa Grant is 6-4. Darlington 1-7. Southwestern 1-8, and Riverdale is 1-9. Also today in the SWC.
Okay, tonight's
actually they have just the one game in the Six Rivers today. The Six Rivers West, actually, it looks like it's all non-conference crossover games. Highland at Pecatonica, Judah Albany at Potosi Cassville, Barneveld at River Ridge, and this ought to be an interesting game. Belmont at Wazeeka Steuben. Wazeeka Steuben is leading the Ridge and Valley Conference. Also in the Ridge and Valley, Seneca is at Argyle Blackhawk, North Crawford is at DeSoto, Brookwood at Ithaca, and Seneca is at Kickapoo. In baseball today, in the SWC, Richland Center at Lancaster, River Valley at Dodgeville. In the Swall, Darlington at Cuba City, Boscobel at Riverdale, Iowa Grant at Mineral Point, Southwestern at Fennimore, Six Rivers, Barneveld at River Ridge, Highland at Pecatonica is a doubleheader. Monticello Albany is at Charlesburg Benton, that is a doubleheader, and Potosi Cassville is at Argyle Blackhawk. And in the Ridge and Valley Conference, Brookwood is at Ithaca, and North Crawford is at DeSoto.
27, Brott.
Colors of the game presented by look at the right thing, Steve. Cuba City Family Dental, Keeler Family Dental, and now open Darlington Family Dental. 3 convenient locations to serve your dental needs. And it is Fennimore, the road team, wearing their white jerseys with maroon numbers and gold on the socks. And Boscobel, the home team, they seem to have multiple uniforms. This one is white tops, black uniform pants, and a little red trim somewhere in there. And Greta Grasso getting ready to go. She has 4 no-hitters this season. We'll get to her stats in a moment. Here is the first pitch of the ball game, and the pitch is fouled off for strike 1. Two, the leadoff batter, Furr. Kiana Furter. Starting lineup presented by Fuller's Milker Center. See Fuller's Complete Hygiene line. That's fouled off at its 0-2. And options for your brand new dairy setup or existing parlor remodel. Fuller's in Lancaster and Richland Center and at Fuller'sMilkerCenter.com. Kiana Fuller, the pitcher, will lead off, batting second. Jenna James, the catcher. Hitting third is Kylie Cole, the first baseman. 0-2 pitch is downstairs and inside, and it's 1-2. Cleanup batters, the designated player, Brooklyn Mumm, and she will bat for Jenna Ruchti, the right fielder. Batting fifth is Alex Bausch, the second baseman. Batting sixth is Jessa Brott, who is the center fielder. Batting seventh is Ren Hippenbecker. And there is the first strikeout of the ball game. Hippenbecker is the third baseman, batting seventh. Batting eighth is Addison Meckley, the left fielder, and Bradley Zink is the shortstop, and she bats ninth. This is Jenna James, the catcher, and she hits it to right field down the line, and that is a fair ball and a double. Just dropped inside the line.
Cole up, Mum on deck.
And so James, who comes into the game batting .484 with a 1.610 OPS, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, adds to her OPS with a double.
It didn't stay in play by much, maybe about 6 inches along that right field line.
And here is Kylie Cole, batting .343, .733 OPS with 5 RBIs. The defense, Greta Grassel, obviously the pitcher, although there are a couple other players who have pitched. Aaron Knowles is the catcher. At first base is Grace Smith. And that pitch is fouled off. Kenna Wallen is at second base. The shortstop is Campbell Fitzgerald. At third base is Emma Hardy. And then in left field, that pitch is outside. Kylie Johnson is in left field. Kennedy Seeley is in center field, and Mackenzie Fritz is the right fielder. That's the ball dropped right in front of her. That's a swing and a miss. Greta Grassel, her stats are pretty amazing, to say the least. 9-1, .34 ERA, .36 WHIP. That is fouled off. She has pitched, this is her 11th start this year, 61 innings pitched. She's given up 18 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned runs. Here's the stat that is amazing. She has walked 4. She has struck out 126.
That is insane.
I've never heard of that. That gets away from Knowles, and that will allow James to get to third on a passed ball. Certainly if you are Fennimore and you lost to them the first time, you obviously want to get off to a good start, and having a runner at third with 1 out would be the very definition of that. Chopped to short, the run will score, and the throw is high. And so getting to second base will be Cole. That'll be an error charged to the shortstop. And it is 1-0 Fennimore on the unearned run. In the top of inning number 1. We're brought to you by Community First Bank. For you in the communities where you live, work, and play, experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank, cfbank.com, member FDIC. That is.
Oh, yeah, she took it off the shin.
Munn gets hit. And so that makes it first and second, excuse me. Cole is at second. Mum, we didn't even get a chance to tell you that she is batting .69, 169 OPS with 4 RBI, but she added to that because she got to first base. Here's Alex Bausch batting .222, 679 OPS with 4 RBIs. 1-0 Fennimore, 1 out in the top of the first inning. They have already done more than they did the first time. And a big swing and a miss for strike 1. Already done more than they did the first time because they didn't score against Boscobel in their first meeting. Hit foul, and it's quickly 2 strikes. Boscobel has been on a run, to say the least, the last, well, basically ever since Greta Grassel started pitching for them. They have won 1 conference title and shared in 2 others. And they got to the sectional 3 years in a row. High, a ball and 2 strikes. The closest they got to state in the last couple of years, of course, was 2 years ago when they won the Swall, got to the sectional final, and then got pecked to death by Horicon in the sectional final.
They were undefeated heading into that final game as well, 27-0. 3 outs away from going to state, and as you said, Horicon just laid down the bunts, played a bunch of small ball, got 2 runs across to punch their ticket to state.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. 1-0 Fennimore, top of the first. That's fouled off. And we'll do 1 and 2 again.
But you really couldn't ask for a better start for Fennimore to begin the game. 1 run across, 2 base runners on, making Greta Grassel earn these outs.
1-2. And that is chopped back to Grassel. Tosses to first, moves the runners along. 2 outs. Bosch does her job, though, in moving the base runners along. And here is Jessup Brock, batting .283. .911 OPS with 2 RBIs. And she's got a big RBI opportunity, 2 aboard, and the first pitch off the backstop right near us. That's a good reason to have the backstop right near us.
And
Strike
just high
1.
enough.
Brought a left-hander at the plate. 0-1. Swing and a miss, and it's 2 strikes quickly. Fennimore with a lead off with a 1-out double, and then the run scoring on an error, and then a hit batter, and that's how it's 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, and Fennimore with a 1-0 lead, and that's going to be all they get. Grassel strikes out 2, but 1 unearned run scores on a hit and an error, 2 left. After a half inning, Fennimore 1, and Boscobel coming to bat, and the
Bulldogs, Knowles, Wallen, Grassel.
The Fuller's Milker Center starting lineup presented again by Fuller's Milker Center. See Fuller's complete hygiene line and options for your brand new dairy setup or existing parlor remodel. Fuller's in Lancaster and Richland Center, and at fullersmilkercenter.com. For the Bulldogs, Aaron Knowles, the catcher, will lead off. Batting second, Kenna Wallen, the second baseman. Greta Grassel, the pitcher, will bat third. Batting cleanup is Cozy Wetter, the designated player, and she will bat for Grace Smith at first base. Batting fifth is Emma Hardy, the third baseman. Batting sixth, Mackenzie Fritz in right field. Batting seventh, Campbell Fitzgerald at shortstop. Batting eighth is Kennedy Seeley in center field. And batting ninth is Kylie Johnson in left field. Defense for Fennimore. Helpful if you actually have the right page up. Addison Meckley is in left field. Jessup Broad is in center, and Rookty is in right, and the first pitch is a strike to Knowles. Aaron Knowles batting .385, .995 OPS with 7 RBI. That's it, foul, and it's quickly 2 strikes. Interesting fact, this is now the second time in softball that we've seen a catcher bat leadoff, because Lily Mishik from Highland also bats leadoff, and kind of unusual, you would think, as the pitch fouled off, to have a catcher batting leadoff, but obviously Erin she's a big average hitter, obviously, and she can get out of her own way on the base pass, obviously, because otherwise they would never batting leadoff.
Let's get her on and then have Greta come around and bring her home.
And that is well hit to center, and that is out of here.
Aaron Knowles.
A leadoff home run for Knowles. That is her first home run of the year, I believe. And just like that, we're tied at 1.
Talk about power in the leadoff spot, and that instantly ties the game. A huge, huge home run for Aaron Knowles, and boy, does the complexity of the game change early on in this first inning. You thought Fennimore got off to a nice start. Boscobel with a big-time answer in the leadoff spot.
And so we're tied at 1. And here is Kenna Wallen, batting 200, 676 OPS with 1 home run and 11 RBI. The rest of the defense, Hippenbecker at third, Zink at short, Bausch at second, Cole at first, James behind the plate, Furr the pitcher, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Furr this season, she has pitched well, 7-4 with a 182 earned run average, 116 OPS. She's pitched in 11 games, 65 in the third innings. 2 balls and a strike, 59 hits, 32 earned runs, 17 earned. That's a huge difference between runs and earned runs. 17 walks and 105 strikeouts. And that's a called strike, and it's 2-2. That would be incredibly impressive were it not for the other number.
Right.
Yeah, you would not think there will be many walks in this game. That's high, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. One away, and here is Greta Grassel, and I guess you shouldn't be surprised that she's a really, really good hitter also. 500 batting average, 1.894 OPS, 5 home runs, 14 RBI. We're tied at 1 in the bottom of the first inning. Fennimore got a run across on a double and an error, and Aaron Knowles answered that with 1 swing of the bat. 2 balls, no strikes. Greta, a left-handed hitter. 3-0. And Grassel will go to first on 4 pitches. And again, as mentioned, that's only her 18th walk of the entire season for her.
Well, I thought that last strikeout by Furr was a big strikeout just to get that momentum back after giving up the home run. But then walking Greta Grassel, probably walking her is not the worst thing in the world to happen, though.
Popped up by Wetter, and that is caught by the first baseman on the infield on the first pitch, and 2 away.
Already up, Fritz on deck.
Wetter on the season, 222 batting average, 532 OPS. And now at the plate is Emma Hardy, a freshman, 200 batting average, 550 OPS, 3 RBIs on the season. We're tied at 1, 2 away in the bottom of the first inning. There goes Grassel, and she has stolen second. That makes her 3 of 4 in stolen bases on the season. 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. To quote Joe Nichols, the weather is sunny and 75. It's a beautiful day. And that pitch is popped up and caught, and that will end the inning. But the leadoff home run by Knowles, and we have a tie ball game, tied at 1 in Boscobel.
After 1, Bulldogs 1.
Pen just died, so now I gotta make a switch here. And we'll tell you that today's game is brought to you by Breckler Insurance Group for auto, business, farm, home, health, and life insurance. See Steve Landusky at Breckler Insurance in Fennimore. Breckler Insurance, serving Southwest Wisconsin for over 94 years. Sups, they're now open in Platteville at the former Nutrition World location. Check out the new selection, including popular brands like First Form and NutriBio, and lower prices too. Sups in Platteville. Brian's Auto Body and Paint Specialist in Lancaster. The pros at Brian's get the job done right. For unexpected dings or major repair projects, Brian's Auto Body and Paint in Lancaster. Tim Slack Auction and Realty. Whether buying or selling, call Tim, Kathy, Chase, and their staff today. Tim Slack Auction and Realty, Lancaster and Fennimore. And we're brought to you by Myers Heating and Cooling, servicing Southwest Wisconsin since 1999. Myers Heating and Cooling, where they say, don't worry, we got this. Tied at 1. 1 hit, 1 run, 1 hit, and no errors for Fennimore. And 1 run, 1 hit, and 1 error for Boscobel. After an inning, 7, 8, 9 batters for the Golden Eagles. Ren Hippenbecker batting .286, .655 OPS with 6 RBI. That's a high strike. Strike at the letters. Oh, 1 pitch. 0-2. Boscobel next will host Cuba City. That's a huge game. We'll have that for you here Monday at 4:10 right here on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel, right in this very place as it's fouled off. Think they'll take the table down for the weekend, or is this ours?
I think they're just going to keep it in the concession stand and keep it on standby. We're going to bring our equipment with us, though. Don't want to risk that.
Yes. 2-strike pitch. Just stays alive. Another 0-2 pitch. And that's hit to right field. And a base hit. And so the second hit of the ball game for Fennimore, and a runner at first, again with nobody out. Actually, last inning it was with 1 out that the double took place. Here's Addison Meckley, batting .286, .632 OPS with 8 RBI. Tried to bunt it. That's foul for strike 1. You know, Cassie Roach said that they don't necessarily play for 1 run if you get a hit on grass. Although I got to believe you got to be tempted because of, you think going in, you're not going to score a whole lot. There's a bunt. Wow. Caught by the third baseman, and that's a double play. The runner was going. And gets picked off.
Great reaction by Emma Hardy at third base. Reading the bump was coming down. She made the quick move, put the glove on it, and quickly got it to first to turn the double play. What a reaction, what a throw.
Here's Bradley Zink, 195 batting average, 427 OPS with 2 RBIs. And that's a called strike. And that's one of those where the runner, you see the kid caught and you're just a dead duck out there, because she was about 3/4 of the way to second base. 0-1 pitch. 0-2. That's kind of a sick feeling when you take off and Grassel's 0-2 pitch. And a strike at the knees to end the inning. Another hit, but nobody left after the double play, and our score after 1.5. Fennimore 1, Boscobel 1. Rejuvenate with PRP in Platteville, specializing in platelet-rich plasma injections. An injury doesn't have to mean your season is over. Rejuvenate with PRP in Platteville. Book a consultation today on Facebook. We're also brought to you by Papa Murphy's in Platteville and Prairie du Chien. Experience love at 425 degrees. Download Papa Murphy's app for specials and online ordering. Papa Murphy's in Platteville and Prairie du Chien. Mountain City Bank's total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop in at Mountain City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Learn more at mountaincitybank.com. We're also brought to you by Grant Regional Health Center, their ortho team. Dr. Brad Binsfeld and Nate Stocco, PAC, provide exceptional care for sports-related injuries. Grant Regional Health Center, experience the difference. Tied at 1. And the 6, 7, 8 batters for Boscobel in the bottom of the second inning. Campbell Fitzgerald, 189 batting average, 529 OPS on the season. Swings and misses for strike one. Actually, she's batting next. This is Mackenzie Fritz, who's batting 150 OPS, 470 OPS and 3 RBIs. And quickly goes down. And swings and misses for strike three. One out.
Fitzgerald up, Seeley on deck.
Now Fitzgerald, who, as I said before, batting 189, 529 OPS. Tied at 1. And there's the strike. Tied at 1, 1 out. In the bottom of the second inning, each team scored in the each team scored in the first inning. Double and an error for Fennimore. And Aaron Knowles' leadoff home run for Boscobel. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. One and two. There's a poster by the Boscobel dugout on the third baseline that says one last ride, and the 1-2 is on the outside, or just misses the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I guess that shows the priority for what they can accomplish this year. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Seeley up, Johnson on deck.
That is the third strikeout for Furr. And here's Kennedy Seeley batting 100, 458 OPS with 1 RBI and 1 strike. Fennimore is kind of in contrast to Boscobel of all the seniors, Fennimore is a junior kind of run team, basically. Inside. Actually, as it looks here, they only have a couple of seniors. In fact, they have 1 senior. James is, I think, the only senior on the roster. There's a called strike, and it's 1 and 2. So they could be theoretically a year away. And a swing and a miss, and that ends the inning. Certainly, Furr is not a year away. She's got her 4th strikeout already, her score after 2. Moving right along here in Boscobel, we are tied at 1. Russell Law Offices is here to assist as your local legal representation. Call for a consultation to discuss
At the end of 2.
personal injury, estate planning, family law, criminal defense, probate administration, and more. Proudly serving Southern Wisconsin Russell Law Offices. The Queen Bee Radio Sports SoundCloud page. Listen back to recordings of previous sportscasts anytime and on demand. SoundCloud.com/Queen Bee Radio Sports. We're also brought to you by Bytech Resource Management, a greener way. Bytech Resource Management of Monroe carries seamless gutters and overhead doors. Belmont Prairie Sheen and at carriesguttersanddoors.com. Sloan Implement, your official John Deere dealer in Bloomington, Cuba City, Montfort, and at sloans.com. And Bouse Electric. Call Brad, Adrian, and Josh Busher at Bouse Electric, Lancaster, and Fennimore. Top of the third inning. And we are tied at 1. Fennimore 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and they've left 2 runners aboard. Boscobel 1 run, 1 hit, and they have not left anybody aboard. Top of the order, and Furr, who struck out in the first, and swings and misses for strike 1. fouled off, and it's quickly 0-2. Wind has picked up a little bit, although it is not nearly as noticeable as it was in the 2 games we did last week in Belmont or in Fennimore with a baseball doubleheader. It's extremely pleasant here.
It's a welcome win.
It actually is, yeah. That's high, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Because without the wind, it's actually pretty hot for, of course, you're not really used to it yet, but.
Yeah, the laptop says it's 81 degrees. Very much mostly sunny.
So just high, wispy clouds off in the distance. And the 1-2 bounced up there. I think Grassel lost the handle on that one, and it's 2-2. Furr, by the way, as a batter, 471 hitting, 1.355 OPS, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Power also in the leadoff spot for Fennimore, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two. Called strike 3.
James up, Cole on deck.
And that is strikeout number 4 for Greta Grassel. And here's James, who blooped a double down the right field line and then scored in the first inning on the error. That's ball 1. That was perfectly placed. That was what, maybe a foot off the line, down the right field line?
Not even. It was probably about 6 inches off the line. I could see it straight down the right field line, just enough to stay in play.
Low, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. That lead lasted until Aaron Knowles led off in the bottom of the first, and we are tied at 1 in the top of the third with 1 away. The 2-0. 2 balls and a strike. That dull thump means the umpire failed to catch it at the plate. This guy, by the way, we've noticed that this guy is not nearly as verbal as our first game umpire on Thursday. He was entertaining. 3 balls and a strike. Cole on deck. In fact, we haven't heard anything he said yet. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Well, that is only the 5th walk that Greta Grassel has given up this season.
Wow.
And here's Cole, who reached on the error that drove in James in the top of the first inning. We're tied at 1 in the top of the third. And that's hit foul for strike 1. Fennimore's had base runners on at all 3 innings. Of course, the leadoff hit in the second inning got erased on the attempt to bunt that turned into a double play.
Well, Fennimore's got phase 1 down where they can get base runners. The second part is getting them home.
Which is exactly what Cassie Roach said in the in our Rally Cheese pregame show. That's a called strike. Knowles looks down to first, but James was not wandering out too much. Here's another difference, by the way. And obviously Knowles did not need a courtesy runner to hit a home run, but we haven't seen courtesy runners in the last any game that we've done at this point. That's right. A called strike. And the throw to first and now to second gets into center field. That's a strikeout for Cole. So 2 out. And James steals second. So she's in scoring position. And here is Mum who was hit by a pitch in the first inning and left at first. 1-1 tie, 2 out, top of the third inning here in Boscobel. That's outside for ball one, or a little high actually, and a little outside. One-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, 1-1. So the defense has been a little shaky, although there was no error on the stolen base. Fortunately, the errant throw at second was backed up. Otherwise, you could have a runner at third. That's a swing and a miss. Meanwhile, it's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes with 2 out and a runner at second. Swing and a miss, strike 3. I just have to fix this because I wrote everything down in the wrong inning.
Johnson, Knowles.
Now that I have done that, now that I have fixed it, I will tell you that it was in the inning, a walk, and that was it. And our score after, with 1 runner left, I should say, after 1.5, still a 1-1 tie. And today's game brought to you by Krantz Auto Parts of Fennimore, your local hardware Hank and Napa dealer. Well, hard to see in the sun, believe it or not. See Rob Krantz and the crew at Krantz Auto Parts for full service repair of cars and light trucks too. Krantz Auto Parts in Fennimore. Also People's State Bank for personal, home, business, and ag loans. Visit one of their convenient area locations or visit peoplesfinancial.com. Member FDIC.
Also, big thanks to Tim Slack Auction and Realty for being our softball game of the week sponsor. And, for all the games that we've had on YouTube so far for our regular season coverage, we've been entertained with some very good baseball and softball games.
Well, the pitching we saw Thursday with a 2-hitter and a no-hitter for Cuba City. And then Cuba City got beat in 8 innings on Tuesday by Mineral Point.
Yep.
And we've got this next week, we will be back here Monday for Cuba City and Boscobel.
Yep, and then the baseball game of the week next week on Thursday, Lancaster at Prairie du Chien. Very intriguing matchup there in the SWC.
Prairie du Chien, I think people thought was going to be better than they are at the moment. And Lancaster got off to a good start, but they've cooled off. The team to beat apparently in the SWC this year is Platteville of all teams. The first pitch is swing and a miss to the 9th hitter, Johnson.
Go figure, with Platteville being dominant in football and basketball this year, the baseball team, imagine a lot of the players playing in that spring sport as well.
Yep, Johnson, 267 batting average, 850 OPS with 4 RBIs. She is down 0-2. That would be a trifecta that is rare to win the football, basketball, and baseball titles, and they're on track to do that. Swing and a miss, and down on 3 pitches goes Johnson, 1 away.
Knowles up, Wallen on deck.
Back to the top of the order, and Aaron Knowles, who opened the bottom of the first with a bang, a home run to left center field. Tie for ball 1. Aaron Knowles had 2 older sisters play, and I believe it was her oldest sister, Sarah, who set the record for career scoring that she broke. And that's hit up the middle and fielded by the shortstop, and Zink makes the throw. And there's 2 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Wallen struck out in the first. And that's ticked at the plate for strike 1. Aaron Knowles, I don't know how many places have this, but Boscobel in the lobby, or in the lobby of the gym actually, has a listing of all of their team records for basketball. And Aaron could look at that thing and see, oh, there's Mom. And I broke her record because Cheryl Main at the time was the all-time leading scorer for Boscobel, but she's had 2 of her daughters beat her record. Swing and a miss for strike 3. And quickly, that ends inning number 3, a 1-2-3 inning. And our score after 3. Fennimore 1, Boscobel 1. We're brought to you by Claire Bank with their 8 convenient locations in southwest Wisconsin. Proud to support our community events. Claire Bank, where they say we can do that. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. We're also brought to you by H&M Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical. Serving you in Fennimore, Lancaster, and Boscobel. Always on call. Always the right call. H&M Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical. Serving southwest Wisconsin 24/7 since 1958. Also brought to you by Doolittle's Pub and Eatery in Lancaster. Follow them on Facebook for daily lunch specials. Doolittle's on the Square in Lancaster. Anderson Weber Towing in Dubuque, powering our audio stream. Anderson Weber Towing in Dubuque when you are ready.
One of the things that I was kind of thinking about when we were finding out that we were going to do this game, Steve, is, we know how great Greta Grassel is as a pitcher, but being as dominant as she has been throughout her high school career, it's been fascinating that teams just have not been able to figure her out. You've seen her every single year for 4 years. These coaches know what her strengths are. It's just that there's no team that's really been able to kind of counter that. She's been so consistent and so dominant throughout her high school career. It's hard to be dominant for one full season, but to do it for the entirety of your high school career, that's a very tough feat.
Well, there's nothing fancy about it. She throws fastball and says, "Here, hit it," but they can't. That's the thing, I guess, would be what comes to mind. Bausch, Brout, and Hippenbecker in the top of the 4th inning, after which we will have the Peterson Agency halftime report. A lot of strikeouts to talk about, and that's a called strike right there, as a matter of fact. Bausch grounded back to the pitcher in the 1st inning. Yeah, that's high, 1 ball, 1 strike. The other thing is, you look at Greta Grassel, she's not big, tall, I'll tell you what she physically reminds me of, the pitcher from Dodgeville that won a state championship, whose name escapes me now, of course, because I brought it up. That's it, foul. Because sometimes, big strikeout pitchers in softball are girls that are taller and more muscle, all that, and that's kind of not her, but boy, can she deliver to the plate. That's high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I don't know if anybody's put a radar gun on her. I assume somebody has. I don't know what that number is, but there is some movement on her pitches, obviously, but for the most part, it is fastballs. That's hit foul.
Clear of my vehicle.
Well, I don't know. I think I'm parked in front of you now, so I was going to park right in front, with the closest spot, and then I thought, wait a minute, this may not be a good idea. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Bausch doing a good job of keeping the ball, keeping herself in play anyway.
But in going back to what we were saying about Greta Grassel, it's the fact that you would think that, there's tendencies that you can pick up on and things that you might be able to find, some sort of weakness. But again, no one's really been able to figure that out.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Brought up, Hippenbecker on deck.
That is seven strikeouts. And here is Bausch, who was one of those 7 strikeouts to end the 1st inning. A called strikeout, and she's down 0-1. Well, the other thing that's, for a fastball pitcher is 1 ball, 1 strike. The other thing, that strikeout to walk ratio is just mind-boggling.
Right.
And we use superlatives probably too much, but what other term can you use to describe You know, right now it's 5 walks and 130-something strikeouts, and it's 0-2. I mean, that is unheard of as far as control. Pop foul. Fennimore's doing a good job, actually, of at least extending the at-bats by getting some contact. And to show the velocity that she's throwing at, you know, the ball's been going pretty far just by a little bit of contact.
Yeah, you have to like the way that Fennimore's making Greta Grassel earn all these outs. It's just, again, can you get the base runners on and get them home? That's easier said than done.
Down the left field line. Foul. The good thing in softball for Greta Grassel is there is no pitch count rule, and there's not an innings rule that really applies here, so she can pitch as long as she feels like. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 away, top of the 4th, tied at 1. Stays alive again. You had to guess, based on their numbers, that this was going to be a pitcher's duel, and that has certainly applied so far.
Well, both pitchers have really settled in after that first inning and
how many times?
Command, yeah,
how many times have we seen that happen? Where, well, she didn't look real good that first inning, and all of a sudden you look up and didn't get up any runs after that. Strike 3 there. Meanwhile, 2 away. That's strikeout number 8.
Hippenbecker up, Meckley on deck.
Here's Hippenbecker, who singled in the second inning, but was the tail end of that double play on the bunt attempt. Tied at 1, 2 out, top of the 4th inning. Ball 1. Of course, now if you're Boscobel, you think, well, let's see, how are we going to get that go-ahead run across? Because Furr has been pretty dominant also. In fact, she's been, I guess in the scheme of things, maybe she's done a little bit better than Grassel has. That's a swing and a miss. I guess it depends what you know. If you give up a double and error in the first, is that worse than giving up a home run in the first?
Yeah, when you look at it, it's just one bad pitch.
Right. Grounded to short. And the throw to first from Fitzgerald to Smith ends the top of the 4th inning. Another 1-2-3 inning. And now Grassel has retired 9 in a row. After 3.5, we're tied at 1. And it is time now for the Peterson Agency Halftime Report presented by the Peterson Agency in Argyle. Brian Peterson specializes in home, farm, auto, and umbrella policies. A double and an error in the top of the first gave Fennimore the 1-0 lead. Aaron Knowles answered fast in the bottom of the first inning with a leadoff home run, and that has been it. As a matter of fact, since the walk to Grassel, Boscobel has not had a base runner. So Furr has retired 8 batters in a row, and Grassel has retired 9 batters in a row since the base hit she gave up in the second inning. Grassel walked on 4 pitches and stole second in the first, and the first pitch way upstairs for ball 1. The Shoebox Scoreboard presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. Brewers 3, Cubs 1 on AM 1590 WPVL this afternoon. They will try her again tomorrow to get a series win. 12:45 on AM 1590 WPVL. And there's another walk. Grassel has walked twice on 8 pitches.
Hardy on deck.
Another Shoebox Scoreboard update for you, Steve. In baseball, in the middle of the 3rd inning, Iowa Grant 4, Mineral Point 3.
Well, that's interesting. Here's Wetter, who popped to first in the first inning. Grassel takes off and steals second. So she's in scoring position. Leading off. You have to wonder, do you think Fennimore is like, don't let her hit? Because Grassel's had 8 pitches that she's faced. None of them have been anywhere near the strike zone. So when you have a batter batting 500, is that, just don't let her beat you. Maybe that's their thinking. Fouled off at the plate, 1 strike and 1 ball.
Let her beat you on the bases, not at the plate.
Well, they already have scored an earned runner on her, of course, at the top of the first inning, but that lead did not last. That is well hit to center field. And that's going to be off the wall. Grassel rounding third will score, and that is a double for Wetter and an RBI. And Boscobel takes a 2-1 lead in the bottom of inning number 4.
On deck.
Now Hardy, who ended the first inning, well, you said your suggestion was make her beat you on the bases and not at the plate. Well, Grassel has done that now with the run scored. The first pitch fouled off, and I forget what this street is, but it was heading in that direction. Ticked foul, and it's quickly 0-2. Cronsage Park has 2 softball fields for about another month. Here's the 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The field behind us, which is to the east, is going away after the school year is over. That is going to be the new baseball field. High. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wetter at second. Nobody out. 2-1 Boscobel. And that is dribbled to third. And the throw to third gets away. And getting up and scoring is Wetter, and it's 3-1. So that's a ground out to third for the first out, but an error.
It's up. Fitzgerald on deck.
Scores Wetter, and the Bulldogs now have a 3-1 lead. So the defense for both teams has led to runs they didn't want to give up. Now Fritz, who struck out back in the second inning. But at any rate, they're going to get a new baseball field built behind us. And the next pitch hit fouled into the parking lot. Didn't hear if it hit somebody's car or not.
All cars are safe, yeah.
I don't think it would have caused much damage anyway, based on how it was hit. A looper up the middle, base hit.
Fitzgerald up. Seeley on deck.
And a runner at first. Second hit of the inning. And Boscobel looking to add to their 3-1 lead. Here's Fitzgerald, who struck out, and then she hits it to short, or second actually, where the catch is made for the second out.
Seeley up. Johnson on deck.
And now here's Seeley, who struck out back in the second inning. 3-1 Boscobel, 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth inning. They scored 2 in this inning after 1 in the first on a leadoff home run by Aaron Knowles. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Boscobel's baseball field has actually is now part of the high school addition project, apparently. That's the Sueda Vista Tola 2. That was approved back last year. Just starting work here. That's a called strike 3 to end the inning. But 2 hits and an error lead to 2 runs. And 1 runner left. Our score after 4.
At the end of 4, Bulldogs
Boscobel 3, Fennimore 1.
Zinc, Fur.
And today's game brought to you by Community First Bank. For you in the communities where you live, work, and play, experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank, cfbank.com, member FDIC. Breckler Insurance Group for auto, business, farm, home, health, and life insurance. See Steve Landusky at Breckler Insurance in Fennimore. Breckler Insurance, serving Southwest Wisconsin for over 94 years. Sups is now open in Platteville at the Farmer Nutrition World location. Check out the new selection, including popular brands like First Form and NutraBio, and lower prices too. Sups in Platteville. Brian's Auto Body and Paint Specialists in Lancaster. The pros at Brian's get the job done right for unexpected dings or major repair projects. Brian's Auto Body and Paint in Lancaster. And our sponsor today, Tim Slack Auction and Realty. Whether buying or selling, call Kathy, Chase and their staff today. Tim Slack Auction and Realty, Lancaster and Fennimore. Top of the 5th inning. Boscobel now with 3 runs, 3 hits, and an error. They've left just 1 runner on base. And Fennimore, 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 error. And they've left 2 runners on base. It is a pitcher's duel as we expected, but this defense has made its presence known and not necessarily in positive ways in this game. That's a bunt. Back to Grassel. 1 out. Meckley retired. Before that, she bunted into the double play. And here she bunts for it out. Here's Zink, who struck out looking back in the 2nd inning. We're just rolling along right now. That's what you get with a pitcher's duel. I was actually thinking about this today. Don't ask me why. That's a fouled off butt attempt for strike 1. The only team sport that comes to mind where if you get a lot of scoring, it doesn't really affect the timing of the game is basketball.
Yeah.
The only way is that it would affect it is if you have a lot of fouls and therefore a lot of free throws. But a basketball game is probably like an hour 50, an hour 20 minutes, regardless of whether it's really high scoring or not. That's inside 1 ball, 1 strike. Conversely, in baseball, a pitcher's duel they're short. Football, a grim defensive struggle, is a fast game, and 47-46. It tends to be a very long game, and a 10-9 baseball or softball game is a long game also. That's a swing and a miss, actually bunted, or I should say a foul tip for a strike, and it's 1-2. I guess wrestling probably is the same way. Wrestling would be the one where it's actually the reverse, because if all you get are pins relatively early, you get a lot of scoring, but it goes fast. And again, I have no idea why I was thinking of that, but called strike 3. Zink retired looking for the 2nd time.
On deck.
And here is Furr, who struck out in the 1st, swinging, and struck out looking in the 3rd.
Well, now the at-bats are starting to be limited for Fennimore being down 2 runs. You got to generate some opportunities here pretty soon.
Called strike 0-1. You start to think maybe they had their shot in the first couple of innings, and now not so much. There's been a walk since the 2nd inning in the 3rd, and that has been it. There's a lot of Ks on the scorecard, and there's a lot of backwards Ks on the scorecard. And that's hit foul. Quickly 2 strikes.
Yeah, pretty much any contact that Fennimore's made has been balls that ended up in foul territory. Not a lot that have been put in play in between the foul lines.
That's a drop 3rd strike, but throw to first in time. And that ends number 5 for Fennimore. 1, 2, 3 to the bottom of the 5th. Boscobel 3, Fennimore 1. And today's game brought to you by Myers Heating and Cooling, servicing Southwest Wisconsin since 1999. Myers Heating and Cooling, where they say, don't worry, we got this. Also brought to you by PRP in Platteville. Rejuvenate with PRP, specializing in platelet-rich plasma injections. An injury doesn't have to mean your season is over. Rejuvenate with PRP in Platteville. Book a consultation today on Facebook. Papa Murphy's in Platteville and Prairie du Chien. Experience love at 425 degrees. Download Papa Murphy's app for specials and online ordering. Papa Murphy's, Platteville and Prairie du Chien. Mountain City Bank's total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop in a Mountain City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC. And an equal housing lender. Learn more at mountcitybank.com. The only reason that commercial doesn't make me hungry is because I had a walking taco here before the game, which was really good. The only thing is it took me longer to eat than I thought because I was actually needing to finish during the pregame. I guess it depends on how much sour cream and salsa you put in. You have to fit in also. 9-1-2 batters. And Johnson swings and misses for strike one. Johnson and then Knowles and Wallen.
I respected the hustle that you had getting that down before you went on for the pregame show.
Loop to shortstop, 1 out. Well, nobody wants to hear me eat for obvious reasons. Knowles led off with a home run in the first and then grounded to short, in the third inning. As we mentioned, Aaron, the all-time leading scorer in girls basketball, beating her sister who beat their mother. Yeah, that's a called strike. It's kind of funny that is the case. That doesn't. I don't think that happens very often. It's kind of a legacy, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Similar to Belmont with all of these players that Jeff Hodgson mentioned. He coached their mothers early on in his career. Tick foul at the plate, and it's 1-2 again. And he was very complimentary. He said he knew nothing when he was a young coach, and they kind of helped him along, basically. Another 1-2. That is hit to short, and a high throw, and out of play, and that will be an error. Charge to the shortstop. Knowles is aboard for the second time today. And here's Wallen, who struck out in the first and in the third. 3-1 Boscobel. Try to add to that. And a swing and a miss. Other thing is that Aaron's mother and aunt, Cheryl and Chandra Main, ended up playing college softball at Carroll College in Waukesha. That's slow and inside. One ball, 2 strikes. Two and 2. But that has to be kind of a funny, every day for 4 years you walk past that board that says leading scorer. It's like, I can beat her. I can beat mom. And I can beat sis. Swing and a miss. And Wallen is retired by strikeout for the third time today. 2 away. Here's Grassel, who has faced 8 pitches and walked twice. Here she has an RBI opportunity with Knowles at second. And 2 away, Boscobel trying to add to their 3-1 lead. And she's not going to get a chance to drive it in because she just got an intentional walk. And they will pitch instead. Pitch instead to Wetter. And that's caught by the shortstop to end the inning. One error, one left. And after 5 at Crown Sage Park in Boscobel, Boscobel 3, Fennimore 1. Grand Regional Health Center's ortho team, Dr. Brad Binsfeld and Nate Soko of PAC, provide exceptional care for sports-related injuries. Grant Regional Health Center, experience the difference. Russell Law Offices is here to assist as your local legal representation. Call for a consultation to discuss personal injury, estate planning, family law, criminal defense, probate administration, and more. Proudly serving Southern Wisconsin, Russell Law Offices. Three runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for Boscobel, which has left 2 runners aboard. And Fennimore, 1 run, 2 hits, 2 errors. And the Eagles have left 3 runners aboard as we head to the 6th inning. James, Cole, and Mum, this might be the inning if they can get something going here. James, remember, doubled with 1 out in the first inning and then scored on the error, which was the first run of the ball game back in the top of the first inning. That's kind of been it as far as threats. Grassel has retired 8 batters in a row since only her 5th walk of the season in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, we talked about the pitchers settling in. It seems like the defenses have settled in a little bit too. You did have an error in each of the last innings for both teams, but outside of that, the routine plays have been seemingly routine.
Called strike. Well, a couple of good defensive plays also catching pop-ups that could have been trouble. In that bottom of the 5th inning of Boscobel. Way upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, we'll follow these, we'll come back, I should say, for these Bulldogs hosting Cuba City on Monday. That ought to be a big one. And we'll have that for you at about 4:10 on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Two balls and a strike. Grassel the side from Knowles. And it's 3 balls and a strike. Three one. Foul off and it's 3-2. Cole on deck. Three 3-1 Boscobel, nobody out, top of the 6th. And the 3-1, or 3-2, is ball 4, and so James aboard the second for actually the 3rd time. She walked,
Cole up, Mum on deck.
Just walked for the 2nd time. Here's Cole, who's hit into an error, which scored the only run of the game for Fennimore in the 1st inning, then struck out looking in the 3rd. She is the potential tying run at the plate. Strike 1. I guess I'm going to have to bring a hat next time. Since
it comes in handy, I'll tell you that.
The ballpark here, this softball diamond is in the home plate is in the northeast corner, so you are looking into the sun down the right field line. That gets away from Knowles. And is that a wild pitch or pass ball?
I believe it touched her glove.
Yeah, pass ball, all right. So, James is at second, and she has been at least there in all 3 bats. 1 ball, 1 strike, meanwhile to Cole. Fouled off, and it's 1-2. Nice setting for a game, obviously. The bluffs, one side of the bluffs of the Wisconsin River out in the outfield. Called strike. And then Knowles throws to third. And
both runners are safe.
And what happened there? So she threw to third to try to get the out, but she is safe at third, and then getting over to third on what I guess technically would be a drop third strike is Cole. That's a strange. No error. I guess you could call that a strikeout fielder's choice, basically. But now you have the tying runs at the corners and nobody out here at the top of the 6th. Mumm squares to bunt and hits it foul. Mumm was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning and then struck out in the 3rd. Swing and a miss as the runner takes off and gets what basically is a free stolen base. Cole at second because, again, Knowles threw to third to make sure that James didn't take off for the plate.
Yeah, great job making sure that the runner stays at third, avoiding the potential double steal.
The only thing is now you got 2 runners in scoring position for Mumm, but she takes strike 3. 1 away in the 6th. Now Bausch grounded to the pitcher in the 1st, struck out in the 4th.
I don't think we've mentioned it so far during the broadcast, but both teams' fans very well represented here at the ballpark.
Well, it's not like it's a long drive for Fennimore, but yes, you are correct. And a swing and a miss for strike 1. And obviously, the specter, you're going to find out really soon because in 2 weeks the playoffs start.
Yep.
Whether or who is going to play whom in the postseason. That's line foul down the first baseline. And quickly 2 strikes. It's a 3rd meeting with these 2 teams or with Iowa Grant. Those games were close, or with Cuba City. The first game was close. That would be very interesting to watch, obviously. 2 strikes with 2 out, and runners at second and third. Wide of the plate, 1 and 2. Hard to believe that it is 2 weeks. Boscobel actually has a game scheduled. I think they're assuming that they will not be playing in the first round. That is a pretty safe assumption when you're 11-1. 1-2. Foul off again.
Well, how much of a nightmare has it been for athletic directors this spring trying to get all these games in and stuff like that? I mean, you had the winter sports season, everything kind of seemed to go as expected. You just had that 1 week in January where snow really messed everything up, but the weather seems to be best on Wednesdays.
And nobody plays on Wednesdays for obvious reasons. Yeah. Yeah, well, and you know, it's really been, I think, just a normal spring. I don't think it's been inordinately bad weather-wise. You know, we get snow in April. Don't ask me why, but
We don't make the rules. It
No.
didn't happen.
1-2 with 2 out. Tying runs at second and third. To right field, well hit.
And that dropped.
It's going to be a base hit or a runner, and the game is tied. The throw to third is, she's in there. Well, when are they going to score that? We're tied at 3.
Wow.
Does that go as a base hit, or was that an error in right field? Corey Grassel now coming out.
Yeah, I don't know if the right fielder just misplayed it or it fell out of her glove. It was hard to see. I had the view obstructed here, but it seemed like she got the glove on it. I don't know if it just fell out or what it was, but...
Well, provisionally, we're going to call that an error. And so Bausch is over at third. 2 runs are in, and we're tied at 3 in the top of the 6th.
Wow.
And again, dubious defense has been a factor throughout this game.
And the go-ahead run at third with 1 out. So a big swing to the outfield on a sacrifice could potentially bring the go-ahead run home.
Corey Grassel not done. I have to think that conversation was probably more aimed at the defense than Greta. But here's Brown with a chance to give Fennimore the lead. Tied at 3, top of the 6th, 1 away. And that's a called strike. Brought in the game, struck out looking in the first, struck out swinging in the 4th. Down the third baseline, foul. And lands on the net. Protecting the fans from having to try to field it when they're really not ready. Quickly 2 strikes. But again, 1 out. A walk to James. And then that weird play with the drop third strike and the throw to third to try to get James, which did not. That got Mum aboard. That's high, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. And then the whatever that was in right field, whether that was a double or a dropped ball for an error, I guess maybe you can run over and find that out in between innings, what they scored it over there. And ultimately, we're tied at 3 with 1 away. Fouled off. Well, we did say coming in that this is a difficult conference. You know, Fennimore in 4th place, and with a winning record. In fact, the top 5 teams in the conference have winning overall records.
Wow.
Down below, the bottom 3 have 1 win each. That was a defensive swing, to be sure, and fouled off down the third baseline. And it's not like Boscobel has wasted a lot of opportunities. They haven't had opportunities hitting-wise. First had a very good job pitching today. But again, the defense was a problem in the 2 runs that she gave up in the 4th inning. Meanwhile, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Broad. And again, one thing Fennimore has done is they have lengthened at bats in this game. Whether or not they've gotten hits, they've had long at bats. Just like here. And again, this being softball, not baseball, there is no pitch count rule. So, you know, Aaron could pitch the next 20. Well, I think you're limited to 14 in a day. Is that? I believe that's correct. Right. But that's not an issue right now, and it's not going to be an issue Monday either because everything resets after today. And that's hit to left. And it's caught. Here's the throw to the plate. And sliding in is Bausch on a sacrifice fly. And Fennimore has the lead 4-3. With now 2 out in the top of the 6th inning. 3 runs in this inning.
I don't know if Bausch was
on that.
hurt when she slid in, but she looks like her left shoulder was in a bit of discomfort, but got in just in time. I think when she slid in, the ball was right under her, so prevented the play at home, and now Fennimore in the lead.
That's a strike to Hippenbecker, who singled but was erased on a double play in the second, grounded to short in the fourth. 4-3 Fennimore. And a swing and a miss. Quickly 2 strikes. Quickly 3 strikes. But 3 runs score on no hits. And an error, we think.
Do it for the Bulldogs.
No runners left. And our score after 5.5, Fennimore 4, Boscobel 3. We're going to check to see how that was scored, whether that was a double to right or an error. And while that takes place, we'll tell you that today's game brought to you by Claire Bank, with their 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin, proud to support our community events. Claire Bank, where they say we can do that, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Also, H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving you in Fennimore, Lancaster, and Boscobel. Always on call, always the right call. H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving Southwest Wisconsin 24/7 since 1958. And we're brought to you by Doolittle's Pub and Eatery in Lancaster. Follow them on Facebook for daily lunch specials. Doolittle's on the Square in Lancaster. So it was scored a double. Now I got to find it. Yeah, it was over here, so that ends up being a double for Bausch. And she gets the 2 RBIs and the run. And Fennimore has the 4-3 lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Hardy, Fritz, and Fitzgerald. Hardy popped out in the first inning and then grounded to third in the fourth. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
That's strike 1.
I'm sorry, strike 1. I was looking at the wrong thing on the scoreboard. Now it's 3-1. There were 2 lights.
Yep.
I was looking in the wrong place, that's all. 3-1. Fouled off, and it's 3-2. Furr has 8 strikeouts, but now a walk.
Didn't miss by much.
Just missed the outside corner at the knees, and so Hardy is the tying run. And here's Fritz, who struck out in the second, singled in the fourth. 4-3 Fennimore, nobody out, bottom of the 6th. That's a called strike. Hardy squares to bunt. Does. And the throw to first in time. The sacrifice works, moves Hardy to second. Fritz does her job. Here's Fitzgerald, who struck out in the second, popped to second in the fourth inning. So Boscobel's going to need some bottom of the lineup hitting to retie the ball game. Fennimore led 1-0 after the top of the first. That's ball 1. Knowles homered in the bottom of the first, tied the game at 1. Boscobel with 2 in the 4th to take a 3-1 lead, but then Fennimore with 3 in the 6th. That is popped up and caught by the first baseman in foul territory for the second out. Cole making the catch. Here's Seeley now, who struck out twice, swinging in the second, looking in the 4th. Tying run at third, a swing and a miss. At second, excuse me. So those runs in the third end up earned after all. That's a called strike, and it's 0-2. Since that was apparently a double, even though it was dropped out there, it was not an assume that you're going to make the catch way out there play. That actually almost cleared the wall also. And a swing and a miss ends the inning. 1 walk, 1 left. After 6, Fennimore 4, Boscobel 3. And our game brought to you by Claire Bank with their 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin. Proud to support our community events.
Do it for the Eagles.
Claire Bank, where they say we can do that, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender, and H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical. Serving you in Fennimore, Lancaster, and Boscobel, always on call, always the right call. H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving Southwest Wisconsin 24/7 since 1958. Fennimore 4 runs, 3 hits, and 2 errors. They have left just 2 runners on base. And Boscobel, 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and the Bulldogs have left 3 runners on base. Pitchers duel, as we kind of figured would be the case, and Kiana Furr presently with a 4-3 lead over Greta Grassel. Eight, 9-1 batters, Merkley, Zink, and Furr near the top of the 7th inning. And there's a bunt, foul for strike 1. Would you dare say that Fennimore would like some Breckler insurance runs here?
Oh, I would definitely anticipate so.
Check with Steve Landusky. Is he around here? Boscobel in the bottom of the 7th will have the 9-1-2 batters due up. And that's a called strike. And quickly 2 strikes. Beckley bunted into the double play and then grounded back to the pitcher. Just fouls that one off. The interesting thing about this is that Boscobel will be in first place regardless, even if they lose, because they have a game and a half lead on Cuba City. But that would make Monday even more interesting than you already know it's going to be.
Yeah, that definitely opens the door for the top of the conference.
Called strike 3. 1 out.
Zink up, Furr on deck.
That is the 10th strikeout for Grassel. She has just 1 walk, but what she does not have at the moment is the lead. Fennimore leading 4-3. With 1 out on the top of the 7th, and a called strike to Zink, who struck out twice looking in the 2nd and in the 5th. Suffice to say, it's going to be a big deal if Fennimore can get the last 3 outs. And a big swing and a miss, and quickly Zink down 0-2. Well, Knowles will be the 2nd batter in the 7th. We saw what she can do at the very start of this game. Oh-2. Pop foul. And it misses the seats and misses the cars. And we'll do 0-2. What would be interesting is if Grassl came up with a chance to win the ball game, considering the fact she has not faced a strike yet today as a batter. She walked twice and then an intentional walk. And she would bat fourth in the bottom of the 7th inning. You got to get there first, obviously, if you're Boscobel. Called strike 3. That's 11 strikeouts for Grassl now. Back to Furr, who struck out in the first, swinging, in the third, looking, and then in the 5th, swinging. 4-3 Fennimore, 3 runs in the top of the 6th inning. The difference right now. Strike 1. Strike 2. Other thing about, of course, Boscobel and Cuba City last year shared the Swall title, and Cuba City got the last word by winning in the sectional semifinal. So not to put any more weight on Monday, but and again, we'll have that for you at 4:10 Monday afternoon here at Crown Sage on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. 2 strikes, meanwhile, to the leadoff batter, Furr, who will be pitching to try to win the game in the bottom of the 7th.
And a sub-storyline to kind of keep tabs on as the regular season wraps up. Cuba City's school year is ending in the next week or so. Graduation is this weekend for the Cubans because they have that long-term project that they're working on with the school.
A swing and a miss, and a throw to first to end the inning. 1, 2, 3. In fact, there was all by strikeout. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Boscobel needs 1 to tie and 2 to win. Fennimore needs 3 outs to win. Golden Eagles lead the Bulldogs 4-2-3. We'll have the Culvers cool down afterwards and the Tri-Core turning point, which is obvious at the moment, but we haven't finished the game yet. We'll also have next Thursday, by the way, Lancaster and Prairie du Chien in SWC baseball, 4:10 on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. So we'll go from the banks almost of the Wisconsin River on Monday, well, today obviously also, to the banks almost of the Mississippi River.
Shoebox scoreboard update in baseball in the top of the 6th. Iowa Grant and Mineral Point tied at 5.
And again, earlier today, Brewers over the Cubs 3-1 on AM 1590 WPVL. Maybe I should call my dad, who is a big Cubs fan, and heckle him.
I'm also going to try and track down the score of the Cuba City softball game. They actually played a 2 o'clock start because of the graduation ceremonies tonight. So see if we can get a better idea what the conference picture looks like.
High for ball 1 to Johnson, who struck out in the 3rd and then popped to short in the 5th. 4-3 Fennimore, 9-1-2 batters for the Bulldogs. That's it, foul, and it's a ball on the strike. Yeah, this is the time of year already when it's starting to, things are starting to, the games are starting to mean more as the conference races kind of figure themselves out. Called strike 3, the correction, called strike 2. Home plate umpire kind of made a run like it was strike 3, which confused me a bit there. Meanwhile, it's just 2-2. And it's still 2-2.
Yeah, Cuba City softball was playing at home against Lancaster, so not a conference game for Cuba City today, but again, if this score holds, big time matchup Monday.
2-2. 3-2. Knowles, who homered in the first, is on deck. Furr ready. The 3-2. Chopped to short. And the throw in time. Nice play there by Zink. One away. Well, here's Knowles led off the bottom of the first with a home run. Grounded to short in the third. Reached on an error in the fifth. 4-3 Fennimore. One away, bottom of the seventh inning. Ball one. You have to think, if you're Furr, you have to think, whatever that pitch was in the first, don't throw that. 2-0. Three balls and no strikes. Wallen on deck. Four-pitch walk. Knowles is the tying run at first. Here's Wallen, who has struck out 3 times today in the first, the third, and the fifth. But her priority is don't hit into a double play, because Grassel came into the game batting .500, is on deck. Called strike. So it's a weird situation that, well, you don't want to strike out, but you really don't want to hit a ground ball that you'd be able to turn to.
Well, it felt like the last at bat that the pitch is thrown to Knowles. They were just trying to get her to chase to see if she would chase one out of the zone, but sit at the plate, let the balls go by.
One ball, one strike. And obviously they didn't want to groove one because they saw what happened the first time that happened. There's the bunt. Oh, it was a good bunt until it just turned foul.
Yeah.
And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Kind of a weird spin to it coming off the bunt, and it started in play and then just gradually moved its way down the third base line, foul.
Grassel is on deck. Knowles, the tying run at first, 1 away. And a swing and a miss for strike 3.
Big strikeout.
Well, Grassel walked on 4 pitches in the first and walked on 4 pitches and scored in the
she's
fourth.
Intentionally walked.
And now she has, wow. She has walked 4 times today.
On deck.
And here is Wetter, struck out, or popped to first in the first, and hits it to center field, and that's a base hit. Knowles scores to tie the game. Here's a score to the plate, and Boscobel wins. Well, how about that? Wetter, who was 1 for 3, hits the 2-run single to center field, and Boscobel pulls it out 5-4.
Wow.
2 runs on 1 hit and 2 walks, including an intentional walk that ends up being the winning run. And Boscobel beats Fennimore 5-4. They are 9-0 in the Swall and 12-1 overall, with Cuba City coming to town in Boscobel Monday, which we'll have for you at 4:10 on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Fennimore with the loss. They are 7-5. And Fennimore they will actually be playing. They'll be playing actually on Monday also. They will be going to Iowa Grant. No? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Actually, yes, they will be going to Iowa Grant, playing in Cobb on Monday. And as we mentioned, it will be Cuba City and Boscobel here. I guess I better start adding this up, huh?
Well, if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel, because my gosh, what a treat we had today for this game. And again, all the games that we've really had on our YouTube streams for our regular season coverage of baseball and softball delivered. And how about this to lead into the weekend? A walk-off hit.
Oh, yes.
A two-run single in the bottom of the seventh for Boscobel to stay at the top of the conference. And, you know, this is a team, Steve, that, you know, we mentioned, and you were talking about it earlier, the poster outside the Boscobel dugout, one last ride. Mentioning to Coach Grassel during pregame that, you know, that window of opportunity starting to close, and, boy, the resiliency of this team, the experience that they've had, showed no quit in the bottom of the seventh and came up clutch in a big, big way.
Indeed they did. The Lions scored today 5 for Boscobel, 5 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, and they left 4 runners on base. Fennimore, 4 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors. They left 3 on base. And Greta Grassel, although it was not easy, she ends up getting the win.
She's my niece. She's awesome.
Well, I'm sure her teammates think so.
Wow.
And the hard luck loss to Furr, who pitched really well today. I mean, when you give up 4 hits, you figure you ought to win, but that's kind of not how it worked out for the Golden Eagles today.
Well, and let's talk about the strategy in the bottom of the seventh, where, you know, Fennimore intentionally walks Grassel to bring it. Was it Wetter that got the game-winning hit, Steve?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so you bring Wetter up, and of course, Greta's the walk-off run, so.
I think we're ready for our Culver's Cool Down post-game show, presented by Culver's in Dubuque, Galena, and Platteville. And first we have to yes, have a seat. So, well, we're going to start with the winning pitcher today, Greta Grassel. Let's talk about your hitting. You didn't hit the ball at all.
No, I did not.
When was the last time that you were walked 4 times in a game and twice intentionally?
I don't know. I don't think ever, probably.
Well, it worked out obviously for you guys, because your teammate picked you up. That was the
Yes. Oh my Lord, yes.
That was the important thing. Which is she? We're gonna make sure she's on here. Okay, say something now.
Hello.
Okay, that's good. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the other thing, obviously, that stands out. How do you feel like you pitched today?
Oh, not my best work, but I still think I got it done in the circle. Tried every pitch for my team. I just told myself, yeah, I may be tired because we played 3 intense games this week, but I had to go out and perform in the circle for them.
And obviously you got the outs when you needed them.
Yeah.
Did you, in a situation like this, you know you're going against a good pitcher.
Yeah.
And you know that you know runs are going to be at a premium most likely, and then the top of the 6th happens, and now you're down. You know, how do you come back from that? You know, where, oh geez, now we're down, and I got to finish pitching here. So what's your mindset at that point?
I just think for pitching, just get the first out, and then let my D help me on the other ones. The first out is so important, the first pitch, the first strike. So I try to get those every single batter, every single inning.
Okay. What's this all been like? I mean, just look at your stat. I mentioned your walk to strikeout ratio, which is a crazy number. Yeah, you added a walk today, but you also had, 11 or 12 strikeouts. But, I mean, what's this experience been like, pitching high school here in Boscobel?
I absolutely love it. I love pitching for my team. I love my catcher, Aaron. We've worked together for 4 years now, so we kind of got that connection. And I just know that my defense behind me got me, and we step up in clutch moments like we just did.
Well, clearly you did. Now, that is, I would have to say, probably the sort of thing that a senior-led team And you're one of the big seniors, but there's a lot of them on this team, obviously.
Yes, for sure.
All right. So what do you feel like you guys are capable of? You've won 3 conference titles. Nobody in Boscobel has done that before. You've gotten to the sectional 3 times. That's pretty good for anybody. There's one step you haven't gotten to, and this is your last shot?
Yes, for sure. I've wanted it since freshman year, and I think this is the year we got it. We have senior leaders, we have freshmen carrying our infield and outfield. We have the pieces. We just got to put them together and really push for that end goal. And
oh, by the way, the sectional is right here. That has to help. It has to make you think that's good too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to be back here Monday. So now, you guys just beat Cuba City, close game, obviously. What do you feel like you have to do the second time against the Cubans?
We've actually never played them yet, so.
Oh, you haven't?
I'm really excited to get to see what they're all about. It's been a close game against Mineral Point and Fennimore even too. So we gotta show up on Monday and ready to work.
Did how last season ended make any difference also for Monday, or not really?
Oh yeah, for sure. We want that one back. We want to get to that sectional final. So I think Monday's going to be a big one.
Okay, well, we'll see you Monday.
Yes.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you on Monday. Wave your dad back over here. So, hey, I should ask you that also before that. What's playing for your dad like?
It's nothing really new. I've played with him in travel ball before and when I was in youth, and he kind of understands me and we get each other. So when I want a certain pitch in my mind, he calls the exact thing, and I'm like, okay, that's what I got to do. And I trust him when he calls pitches. I trust him on defense and hitting. So yeah.
I would assume he probably trusts you also to get the.
I think so, a little bit. I hope so.
All right. Again, congratulations. A big win for you guys, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Greta Grassel, the Boscobel pitcher, and scored the winning run after she was walked for the 4th time tonight. And now we're going to bring her dad out and her coach, Corey Grassel. Thanks for the dramatics here. We really appreciate. That's the sort of thing that makes you old before your time, right?
Exactly. Way too old for my time.
Well, let's talk first. Top of the 6th did not go well for you. Top of the 1st didn't go well for you, but you obviously, you hit a one pitch. Suddenly it's tied in the 1st. But what do you feel happened in the 6th inning?
Just kind of some mental breakdowns more than anything, and instead of getting out at first, we try to get the girl at 3rd, and that just sets up that game tying run, and then bang, there it is. We're tied, and now we're behind, and with about 3 swings of the bat, and so we get the girl at 1st on the strikeout. It could be a different game, and we're not pressing so hard to get those extra 2 outs. We're only looking at getting 1 more out instead of 2.
On the other hand, Knowles starts off the bottom of the 7th with a walk. Obviously, they didn't want her to repeat what she did in the 1st. And then Greta gets an intentional walk. When was the last time that she didn't even get an official plate appearance in a game when she was up 4 plate appearances and no at-bats?
I think everybody's thrown to her at least one time throughout her career, whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. But I don't. It may have happened one other time in the last previous 3 years. But other than that, I don't recall. I know she's been walked a couple times this year, earlier in the week, twice by AG, and but they threw to her a couple times also. So.
All right. Well, then another one of your seniors came up huge in the bottom of the 7th inning, didn't she?
Extremely huge. I said to her, now it's time for you to be the hero. When she went up to bat, and she's been grinding at the plate all year long, and just seemed to be finding somebody. And today she found the gap twice and came up huge, and I just give her kudos for sticking with it and bearing down and getting it done here at the end.
Okay, now it's Cuba City on Monday, and obviously there's the storyline of what happened to end your year last year. And this is actually the first time that you've played them.
Yes.
So what do you feel like you got to do Monday?
We got to come out and be mentally prepared way better than we were tonight. If we come out like this on Monday, it'll be a short game from the start, and we'll be playing from behind all night. So our girls got to come ready to play, be focused, and take care of our, things we can take care of and control the things we can control and not worry about anything else. But we got to show up.
All right. Well, we'll be here.
All right.
And
great.
we're pretty sure you'll be here also on Monday, weather
here.
permitting, I'm sure. But I think we'll be all right
I
Monday.
hope so.
Yeah.
I don't have any time for any more rain out.
Yes, your typical wonderful Wisconsin spring.
Exactly.
Such as this. All right. Congratulations
All right,
on
well,
the win.
thank
And we'll see you on Monday.
All right. Thanks for coming. We'll see you Monday.
All right. Thank you.
yeah.
Corey Grassel, the coach for Boscobel. His team came up huge in the bottom of the 7th inning, a 2-run game-winning single by Cozy Wetter, and Boscobel comes from behind and beats Fennimore 5-4. The line score again, 5 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 4 runners left on for Boscobel. For Fennimore, 4 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors, and 3 left on for the Golden Eagles. Gee, what do you suppose the tricorn turning point should be today?
well, obviously the hit, but then, let's talk about what led to the hit. Because, again, like we were talking about earlier, Greta Grassel being walked intentionally to put her on base, and that set up Cozy Wetter to bring in Grassel as the game-winning run. So it was a calculated risk by Fennimore, which, admittedly I thought was probably the best move. You want to neutralize your best, or the opposing team's best hitter as best as you can. So, taking that and, getting her on, Fennimore's probably best chance, but, give credit to Cozy Wetter for coming up clutch, getting that big hit. 2 RBI single to come up clutch at the bottom of the 7th. Is about as good of a moment as you can have.
Yeah, definitely. The Tricor Turning Point brought to you by Tricor Insurance plans built for you, your family, and your business. Contact Tricor Insurance today. I'm just checking up the strikeout count. And I keep losing track of where I am. Let's see, that's 2, that's 3.
Well, while you take a look at that, I will tell you that the final in that Swall baseball game that we were telling you about, Mineral Point comes away with a 6-5 win over Iowa Grant. So Pointers come up with a walk-off hit in that game.
Well, it seems to be contagious today, possibly. Well, I mean, you're talking about a pitcher's duel, which we kind of figured would be the case. The defense actually had a little bit of influence in things that maybe the teams would not have appreciated, perhaps. But essentially, Greta Grassel gave up 3 hits and a walk, struck out 14, and Kenyatta Ferner gave up, 4 hits, and I did not count the walks, but it wasn't very many, you know that much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 walks, actually 6 walks in the game. It's more than I thought it was. Struck out 9. It is, you pointed out, it's a calculated gamble to intentionally put on the winning run, but you have to actually get that runner home, and that is what happened. Wetter, actually, that should probably be credited as a double because she was on at first base, so we'll give it that. A game-winning double, 2-run double by Cozy Wetter in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Boscobel pulls it out 5-4. Again, it was Fennimore scoring in the top of the 1st inning on a double and an error, and then Aaron Knowles parked one over the left center field wall in the bottom of the 1st to tie the game at 1. They scored 2 in the 4th to take a 3-1 lead, and then Fennimore tied it. Fennimore actually took the lead on the 2-run double by Bausch in the top of the 6th inning, but then Wetter with the 2-run double in the bottom of the 7th inning, and that's how it ends up, 5-4. What a ball game this was.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm kind of thinking about, too, for Fennimore, even though it was a loss and it was in walk-off fashion, you have to feel confident that you can hang with the top team of the conference.
Right, yeah.
And again, it's just kind of calculated risks. You did what you had to do to neutralize the best hitters on the Boscobel side. Just give credit where it's due. The players for Boscobel came through clutch at the end of the game. For Fennimore, it was just a matter of, put the ball in play, do what you could to get on base, and see if this defense can back Greta Grassel up. And there were times where the Boscobel defense just didn't do their job. That led to that big inning where Fennimore was able to take the lead. So I think you have to like the things that happened if you're Fennimore. It's just a not so happy ending to end it in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, certainly for Fennimore to go from losing 7-0 to losing 5-4 is a big improvement, obviously, and they've got a few games left before the postseason starts. What's going to be interesting is where they fit in the postseason,
right?
Simply because there's a lot of teams in this half sectional that have winning records, so that's going to be kind of interesting to see where the coaches. After all the lobbying and all that takes place, where they're going to end up putting them.
Yeah, but if these two run into each other, you've said it multiple times, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And
seems to me I've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah, and if that third matchup does happen in the postseason, I would anticipate that third matchup would be one outstanding softball game.
Definitely. On the Shoebox scoreboard presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest, Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1 this afternoon. On AM 1590 WPVL, we'll have that also tomorrow afternoon and Sunday afternoon at 12:40, I believe that is, from the friendly to Milwaukee confines of Wrigley Field on AM 1590 WPVL. And then coming up again on Monday, Cuba City and Boscobel, right back here on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel of 410 start from Crown Sage Park. Also next Thursday, we'll head to Prairie du Chien for Lancaster and Prairie du Chien in baseball, 410 start on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. The sports directors of Queen Bee Radio are Mark Evenstad and RJ Osterhaus. Our producer today, Tyler Dictanis. Good job, Don Olmeyer.
Pulling double duty.
Johnny Page is our chief engineer. Thanks to the staff at Boscobel High School. Thanks to our sponsors who allow us to bring this game to you. And thank you for joining us. Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of the Tim Slack Auction and Realty Softball Game of the Week, presented by Myers Heating and Cooling, the Myers Home Comfort Store, and Wolf Construction, is a Queen Bee Radio Sports presentation on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Boscobel gets 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cozy Wetter with a 2-run double to score the winning runs. Boscobel beats Fennimore 5-4. From the Wolf Construction broadcast table, I'm Steve Prestegard along with Tyler Dictanis. We'll see you for more softball Monday and baseball next week.